It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
My name is Williamson Henson. I'm from Thurston Caicos. I just completed my hip surgery and Health City through National Health Insurance Board. I had a dirt bike accident. I hit really hard. I lost some teeth, some metal in my hands. I had metal on my right hand as well, on my left hand. Glass still remains on my knees, and I broke my socket bone, my hip bone. I broke the whole socket bone. And National Health Insurance Board gave me a call on my birthday. It made me cry, but I tried to hold my composure. It made me cry because I was waiting for 10 months. It was on a Wednesday, my birthday, and they say this Monday coming, you're going to Cayman Island to have a hip replacement surgery.
When Mr. Williamson came to us, he had a 10-month-old fracture which was operated at some other place, where he got a fragmented acetabulum which was into almost 4 to 5 parts, and his hip was out of his place. Also along with that, his right leg was shorter than left one by 2.5 inches, and he has a tremendous pain and was not able to walk and stand on that leg as well.
The first surgery affected my lifestyle because certain things I could not do for myself. It was all about crutches.
We removed the implant, cleared all the tissue, we put a new socket for there, and then the hip was replaced. And also we corrected the shortening, which was almost 2.5 inches, which came back to normal.
And he actually told me hip replacements in Cayman Island, you're gonna walk the same few hours. And what made me real happy is he said it and it was done for real. I started walking like literally in 23 hours.
Yeah, it's like a complex primary revision replacement. You can see that where you need to have some implants which are really advanced in the world, which we have at Health City. We have a dual mobility cup, which is a state-of-art, newer type of an implant, which is going to be making your hip absolutely stable, more durable, and has to function absolutely like a normal person.
I'll say a big thank you, first of all, to NIB and Health City caseworker and the host from Health City for communicating and well thinking of me behind my back. It was like every time I think about something, they already on it. It was my birthday. I was like quite happy because I was waiting on the call to get the surgery done. But I'm happy now, it's done. I can walk. I just can't wait to get back to the kids and be like, oh, look at them. Thank you, Health City, for restarting my life with my hip replacement surgery.
If you're a parent right now, you already know the cost of living has gone up. Rent, childcare, groceries. When the cost of living rises, government must rise to meet it. And we have. Under the revised ECAP policy, our Early Childhood Assistance Program, we've increased funding to keep pace with what families are actually paying today for their children's early education. Who benefits? A father working every hour he can. A single mother doing it alone. A grandparent raising grandchildren they love. Maybe that's you. Up to 235 Caymanian children will benefit directly. And I want every single one of them to have the start they deserve. That is why we are here. If you've applied before and been disappointed, I encourage you to try again. If you've never applied because you assumed you wouldn't qualify, now is the time to find out. And if the funding didn't feel like enough before, it should now. Is your child 3 years old and Caymanian? You may qualify. Visit us at moeapplications.gov.ky and apply for the 2026-2027 academic year.
All right. Good morning, folks. Happy Wednesday. I believe we're actually on radio today, which is shocking and surprising. But hello, Bobo folks, 103.1 FM. Everybody good? Hope you guys are having a fantastic week so far. Just a reminder that is the número de teléfono. And you can obviously reach us on WhatsApp, and apparently you can straight call at no charge to me as long as I'm in the Caribbean and the United States of America. Look at Flo making moves that they never told us about. Honey chow. All right. Let me just see who is here with us this morning. We have Island Pearl. It is Hump Day Wednesday. We've got Damaris, Lizette, Barbara G in the house. Good morning, Miss Barbara. Abby is here. So she says, Nando Blaze Up, who's getting deported with Larry and Indigo Divers today. Oh my gosh, I wish we were in a position to deport certain people. They do need to go. We're going to get to them here in a second. These people are crazy. This is so wild. But anyway, we'll get to that in just a second, Abby. Honey chill. I see that you've been keeping up. Strong Wilt, good morning to you as well. So nice to see you, honey. And Shaka Zulu's here. Miss Olivia is here. Good morning to you. Raymond, I got to send you a video this morning that is going to make you chuckle. Let's just say that some people on TikTok, all they do is fight and war. And that's like their entire life. Obsessed. Really, really and truly. The obsession is real. And I do have a opinion piece. By the way, I know that a lot of people like to send me voice notes and opinion pieces. And then they're like, oh, I don't want people to hear my voice or whatever. They want to remain anonymous. But we've just discovered a little way to, my apologies. We've discovered a little way to change their voice. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing these pieces now as opinion pieces because, listen, the world has changed, right? Remember back in the day, you could write an editorial and people would print it and people would read it in a printed newspaper. Well, long gone are those days. Y'all ain't reading nothing. We ain't printing nothing. The only reason that people are printing these days is because Michael Miles, the ministry, said that apparently you have to advertise jobs in print media. I don't actually think that that's what the law says, though. And I know that there's a couple people who are in that space. I'm not, but I know that there are a couple people in that space who wanted to legally challenge him. And I kind of think that maybe that challenge is going to be coming in the very near future. It really doesn't make sense. And there are people who've said to me, we actually intend to, we had reached out to them with some questions. And speaking of which, hold on a second. Just remembering that a particular ministry didn't get back to us. On the sustainability question, yeah. Okay, so we do know that there are some people who, are in the news business who did not want to print, and now they're being forced to print in order to be able to accept job ads. I do think that is, what would Kim Anion say? Ass Thomas? Ass backwards? So in other words, we are going back in time in terms of how we're doing things. I don't know. I mean, call me silly, but I do think that there has to be some reason why the ministry is choosing to interpret the legislation, because apparently the regs don't say anything about print media, but they are choosing to interpret it in that way when nobody's picking up a print paper to look for jobs. So it is very, very bizarre. But they have single-handedly revived print papers overnight because we went from really having one paper printing once a week, Caymanian Times barely holding on by a thread, to all of a sudden over 50% of their paper is now job ads. And he has saved the printed newspaper business, saved and revived it. Because like I said, people who had no intentions of actually printing have now been forced to print because they wanted to be able to accept job ads. Call me crazy, but if I were them, I would be mounting a legal challenge. But a lot of Caymanians and a lot of Caymanian businesses really and truly just they make people push them around. Yep. And so it is. Anywho, that's not my battle to fight, but I do know that it is a battle that's happening behind the scenes with media. And what can I say? The point that I'm making here is we don't go backwards in time. CMR, we don't care, quite frankly, what government is trying to do, and when they don't understand the assignment. Let me fix my camera a little bit here. By the way, I got a light, but now I don't feel like I need a light because we got a lot of natural light coming right at me. But so whenever government goes backwards, I'm not a believer that we the people should step backwards with them in time. You let them go backwards, and you know that it's only a matter of time before that move is going to, again, be changed, sadly, or one of the newspapers that's actually being impacted by it is actually going to mount a legal challenge. And then when they mount a legal challenge and they win, then the government has to rectify their behavior, right? It's just wild. But there you have it. And in fact, one newspaper that's in existence now started because they heard, one of the main reasons they started is because they heard that government was actually going to be forcing newspapers to print jobs. And so they started up a whole new, this is just wild in my brain. They started up a whole newspaper in order to be able to get a piece of that pie. There's some pie that I don't want nothing to do with. Call me crazy. Am I a little bit blown out today? I might be. Call me crazy, but there are certain pies that y'all can just keep to yourselves. I'm really not that interested in it, to be honest. But we'll see. I will keep you guys updated on where we go by that. But speaking of Mount Trashmore, Island Pro says, I heard that Mount Trashmore is on fire again today. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, I'm not in Cayman. I haven't seen any footage yet, but that would not surprise me. And we keep, our cousins were trying to ask me about the lack of recycling programs in Cayman. And I can't even logically explain it. I was just like, we just haven't gotten there as a people. And they were like, what? It is so second nature now in the US for households to push that recycle bin out on I don't know what day they come. Say it's Thursday for recycling, right? They have the recycle bin. The garbage bin comes on a different day. And you get in trouble if you even have the wrong bin out there. And so my cousin was saying to me that his recycle bin has a little damage to it. So the government is going to be replacing that recycle bin so he can get a new one and keep recycling. It's like the kids. You get an Amazon package, right? You open the package, you take your stuff out. The very next thing you do is you break down that box, flatten it, and go put it in the recycle bin. It is second nature because now it's been multiple generations that have had to get on with the recycling. And here we are in Cayman spinning our wheels, and not just spinning our wheels, we are actually going backwards in time with how we are trying to do things. So you have to forgive me if I refuse to be part of that backward movement. Sometimes you look like you're crazy. You're anti this, you're anti that. I don't really care about any of those things. I refuse. There's certain things that I'm not going to do. So I'm not dealing in print media. CMR will never print a newspaper under any circumstances. It is ridiculous. It's a waste of paper. It hurts the environment. They stay stacked up there at Foster's forever. Who's recycling that paper? What are they doing with that paper? It's just ridiculous. And now to force and to go from one newspaper essentially printing once a week to 4 weekly newspapers. I think Caymanian Times has now increased their print to 3 times a week. It is too much. And it has been pushed by a government policy that is nonsensical. And nobody in government can explain it to you in terms of why. They have no data to show that people are picking up a newspaper and that's where you're actually finding your jobs. So that certainly wasn't what motivated them to do it. But it's just local. Now, some people are of the opinion that it was done to help out our friends over at the Compass, because they're losing money. Everyone says, well, that's Uncle Dart. He can afford to lose money. Even at some point, Dart is the DART organization, not him personally, but the DART organization is about their coin. So they're not going to continue in an industry that's just hemorrhaging money, no matter how much they want a free press and how much they love media. At some point, they're going to be like, we are out of this game. This is just too much money. It's too much wastage, yada, yada, yada. Compass TV hasn't made any money. That was a undertaken that was millions of dollars. And they've recognized that what they were sold was a bad bill of goods, as we would say in law, right? It was just overkill, $40,000 lights, and just ridiculous. All of that to say that, listen, we at the end of the day cannot continue to make decisions that can't even be justified. Here at CMR, we're not going to do that. So let me give you an example of what the things that we're going to start doing in terms of editorials. So here's one that came in. So this is, let me just pull it up here. And we're tweaking this a little bit. We've done a couple this week. I don't even think I've posted them this week yet. Ooh, I do need to post them. But we have done a few this week. And I'm going to share this one with you today. So who has some thought? All this TikTok foolishness that has been going on. So once it downloads, I'm going to share that. So yeah, Opinion pieces. If you have an opinion piece, folks, and it doesn't have to be typed out anymore, long, whatever, it doesn't even have to be written. You can just send your voice note opinions to us, and we're going to start sharing those in our platform. That's the forward movement that I'm talking about here. And you know how many people that has the potential to reach in terms of your opinion? Like literally, it's limitless what it could reach, but for sure, thousands upon thousands of people. And nobody can tell me thousands upon thousands of people are going to go pick up every single newspaper that's out there now and read those. So, in any event, I'm going to share one with you here today that we did get, and we have another one, which I can't remember if that one from the weekend, if that was actually posted or not, from one of our Jamaican followers. And thank you so much again for all of the. I had a Jamaican gentleman call me. I think it was yesterday or the day before, to again, demonstrate his support. So Live Happy says, good. Now we can see the jobs. I think it's a good help. People who don't want to read, it's their loss. They can't say they never knew. So Live Happy, does that mean that you're one of the people who actually is still picking up a newspaper? Because I bet you that you're on social media every single day, probably 12 hours out of the 24 hours. And so the logical place to be posting this stuff would be online somewhere, not in print paper. I mean, that's just crazy. Well, Live Happy says, put it in all platforms. As small as Keyman is, many still don't know what's happening. It is baffling. And those are people who don't want to know. There's absolutely no reason why in this day and age, people should be remaining ignorant. If you see someone who's remaining ignorant, they just don't want to know. They don't care. All right? But imagine what you could do with a, this is still downloading. Imagine what you could do with something that you have, a link to. You just share it with your friends. You can share it on your social media platforms. You can send it via WhatsApp. You can send it around. There is no excuse for people being ignorant, except that they don't actually care. There are people who don't really care about the issues that we're facing every single day. They would rather, stick their head in the sand. Marshall says that the recycle pickup here in North Carolina is every other Friday. Island Pearl, good morning. Says that we are the blame of our own trash problems. We have no discipline and have not been encouraged to recycle. We need to be more educated, and the public needs to be fined for not complying. Well, first of all, we got to start a program. You can't fine people and that sort of thing without actually having a proper recycling program in place. And we have yet to hear the dial move on that at all. And it's just crazy. So Damien says, who is still living in the 80s printing newspapers? Read or listen online. Once again, our government has made this decision that has specifically impacted Caymanian-owned businesses. And, I feel sorry for them. And they've run out there and now set up a print newspaper business because of it. And I can't imagine that makes any sense, because all of them, I think for the most part, are having to print overseas. Listen to what sense this actually makes now, right? Print overseas, putting money in the hands of overseas printing companies. And bring those newspapers 3 times a week on Cayman Airways. Well, at least I guess Cayman Airways gets some money out of it. And then, put those out in distribution at the local gas stations and stuff. When I go in a gas station, the thing I'm thinking about is picking up anything. Kim, good morning. Joining us from the 409. That's Texas. Sending love to everyone. Thank you so much, Kim. Miss Florence is in the house. Emma, good morning. Morning, Johan. Lucky Body says, do people even read anymore? To my point, no, I know they don't. Most people just watch reels on Instagram and TikTok. It's wild. Lucky Body, it's wild. I just start to see this TikTok stuff, and it's just so bizarre and so weird how people are on there. Like, it's just, oh my God. But you got to get with the times. If you want to be current and whatever, you got to get with the times. Sia says, I'm glad newspapers are back. I've been saving a fortune on paper towels for cleaning my windows and mirrors, and newspapers just works better on glass. Really? But don't they mess up the thing with me newspapers is the print actually comes off on your hands and stuff like that. And so I've never been that fond of a newspaper because you put it down on a desk. Heaven forbid you have a white desk or any, it's all over. Newspapers are very messy in terms of like the print and stuff like that. But surely you do know that it's not the actual paper because you can use a fiber, what are the fiber cloths called? The microfiber cloths, right? And clean a window and get that to shine properly. It's what you're using to clean it. Don't use Windex. There's other things that actually work way better that are natural as well. I've been following some of these professional cleaners who give you a lot of good advice about how to get like, your glass streak free. I'll share a link. There should be a Sandy and Johan show. Call it the lesser of two evils. I'd watch that, says Raymond. Lord have mercy. Beautiful lies, ugly truth. Good morning. Says the dump is doing what it's supposed to do. Burn itself out. Simple as that. Let it burn. Let nature take its course. How is that? What? What did I just hear you say? How is that good for you? You do know that when the dump is on fire, whatever is burning is toxic and the fumes are going into the environment and it's impacting people, including our children at Georgetown Primary, which is literally right across from the dump. And so when it's really bad, they have to shut down the schools. There's all those people in those surrounding apartments. Lakeside is across the street. Kimana Bay is right there, depending on the wind and how it's blowing. It covers a lot of Georgetown Central, and that's Caymanian people who are taking in all this soot and toxic fumes, and you think that that's the solution? What? The dump is not meant to burn. I was watching the top 10, I think it was top 10 places in the Caribbean that has like the worst pollution issues. Thank God Cayman didn't make the list. But the way that people dispose of their garbage, especially in the Caribbean, is shocking. It demonstrates a level of ignorance that we just don't know what to do with our trash. And for most countries, it becomes a national disaster. And all they do is they push it to like one city where it's not a touristy city, and they figure, well, as long as the tourists don't see it, who cares? It doesn't matter. There's also an environmental impact. There's an environmental impact to things burning in the atmosphere. So there's no way that the dump is meant to be burning tires and other stuff and putting that into the atmosphere and into the air. And anybody should think that that's actually healthy for us. That is just so wild. What Johan saying, just once a month, small doses for both y'all, and y'all could bake brownies when brownies are due. Chat down and unsell the brand. No, sir. You're thinking too much about this, Raymond. Morning, Miss Stephanie. How you doing? So good to see you. CS says to try it. No, listen. I know what you're talking about because back in the day, that's what we used to do. Back in the 80s, when I lived in Tampa with my aunt, that's what we did with newspapers. We used them to clean the glass. I'm just saying there are better solutions now, actually. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It doesn't work well. I'm just saying that there are other things that you can do that are not single use either that will get you just as good or even better results. Vision says Dawn dish liquid, clean glass, real good too. I'm going to send you, I can't remember which one, but it's also, I think vinegar. There's a combination with vinegar and something else that will make your glass so clean you'd walk right through it. Miss Florence says, yep, newspaper works really good. Just damp it with water. And again, imagine what that's doing to you, all that ink. You're damping it with water, so you're making the ink come off, and I don't know how many of y'all use gloves when you actually clean your mirrors or your windows. And all of that is getting into your palms and into your hands. Again, toxins, folks. All right, Florence, thank you so much. Damien says that does not affect them, thus making that ignorant comment. In terms of the burning of the dump, no, sir. Morning, Miss Debbie. Minister, if you're listening, please implement a recycling program. It's desperately needed. The people can then be held accountable. It's the entire government, really, that has to come together. Yeah, I know that vinegar is one of the ingredients, but I think there was something else as well. It might be the Dawn dish liquid, because Dawn is actually really good. Anyway, back to the point that kicked off this part of the discussion. Let's listen to this editorial. I don't think there was, let me double check. I don't think there was any profanity in it, but hold on. Oh, I think there might have been. And I think we're actually on radio this morning. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna play it on radio. I'll play it after 9:30. Because I finally got connected to radio today. I don't think we were on yesterday. And I finally was able to make it happen today. So we'll see how it works. I don't know what's going on with this machine over here. That's not helping us connect. But anyway. Okay, so let me just email this tech guy, Kevin. Okay. Sorry, my laptop taping, I know, is annoying. Portal. Okay, troubleshoot this device more. Okay. All right. Alrighty. So good morning, Kevin. Okay. What's the point? As they say. Alrighty. Regards. There we go. Okay. So yes, going back to my point now. What a pint. Send in your editorials. You can send in your voice notes and we will turn them into editorial pieces. And yes, we share them with our listeners here, there, and everywhere. Waking up, the Cayman Islands says newspapers are still going in the UK. I love them, Drew. It's like a Mall Road version. What's going on in Cayman? Reading is important for the brain and learning new words. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying that going to the newspaper stand every single morning and having to pick up a newspaper wherever you get it, because once again in Cayman, nothing is home delivered, is as antiquated as, I don't know, what is so 1990s, but it is very 1990s. We are now in 2026. And you can read online, by the way. I know y'all know, but I'm telling you, that's great that you say that, and yet probably a good 70% of the population doesn't really read much on a daily basis. They read social media comments, and that's the reading of the day. Lots of ways to get your reading out there, but there you have it. All right, so good morning, Mr. Amelia. Let's move on, shall we? Instagram folks, so good to see you guys. So yesterday we were alerted about a situation, and oh, my apologies. Speaking of not reading, I know that I need to send out these links every day, so forgive me. Let me get this sorted out. Let me just see here. I forgot to send out these links. I know people are literally sitting there waiting like, they're like, is there no show today, Miss Sandy? What's going on? Where's the link? People really like things direct on their phone, in their faces. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to be like, what? You're not on today? I'm like, yes, we are. Give me 1 second. Let me just update the links for the day. But yeah, so yesterday I was on vacation, trying to mind my own business. And I received a message from several people actually to say, hey, did you see this post? And I was like, no, what's going on? Oh my gosh, Karen and Kevin at it again. I said, really? Do these people honestly have nothing else to do? Okay, I'm going to read the letter and then we're going to talk about it. Because I suspect that some people are so incredibly idle. I don't suspect it. I know it. And this week from last week has proven that. A lot of these young TikTokers, man, they live. And I'm like, is this what they do for a living? Because when you can sit down there and make 10 videos a day about one person, you either obsess with that person in an unnatural way, and that's obsessions are never good, or because it can be both, you have no job and you have nothing else going on in your world to take up your time. Y'all have children. Newborn children need a lot of contact and a lot of attention. Children of all ages, in fact, you know, need attention. They need hugs. They need talking to. They need conversation. And y'all sitting down just living your best, most ridiculous life on TikTok. And I just have to sit there and shake my head because I'm just like, there is no way. No, sir. Okay, give me 1 second here. So this, we should have, let me just double check the links now. Right, so this should be, the links have been updated, I think. Let me double check. Let me double check, honey child. All right, so we've just updated Facebook, and then I am doing the YouTube link for you now. Okay. All right, let me just make sure that this is accurate. Yes, it is. Okay. So we should be good. All right, so I'm sending out the links now on the social media, the WhatsApp channel. Okay, so yesterday people were sending me some videos of a Caymanian who all of a sudden got a message from this. To me, this is just wild. So what it looks like, and I have limited information because I've not spoken to the young man, but we have the video footage, which I'm going to show you guys here, and then we have some commentary, obviously, from social media. So there appears to be a couple, because we don't know who they are yet. I suspect somebody does know them. We are going to call them Karen and Kevin. Now, you guys know, everybody's familiar with Karen. And for a long time, I didn't know what the male version of a Karen was. I was like, well, what are we going to call a male version of Kevin or Karen? And so I have since discovered that the male version of Kevin, or Karen, my apologies, is actually Kevin. The things that you learn. And so they took the liberty to see a vehicle that they thought was oversized and that they didn't like, and then turn around and write a note, get out of their car, and put said note on this person's vehicle. I saw it and I thought to myself, some people have too much time on their hands. Honest to God. This is a perfect example. Now listen, I know all the time we say, mind your own business. And I'm in the business of minding other people's business. So I'm like, well, we'll see. If it impacts the community, I mean, there's a litmus test on whether or not it becomes our business, right? So there are certain things that become our business because of the nature of what they are. But this is really the sort of thing that I find hard to justify on how these people thought that what they did makes any sense. Morning, Miss Amiria. She says, I think it's ridiculous myself with all the paper and everyone having to now advertise 3 weeks. I collect them to catch crap in my bird cage. All right. Damien is asking if anyone can zoom in on the license plate to see who Karen and Kevin is. Well, I think we're going to know. So they drive a blue Suzuki. Oh, you're getting all the details. All right. So this is what they did. Imagine this for a second. You're driving, yes, and you see a vehicle that you don't like. What do? What does your mind tell you is the logical thing to do? To sit down there and write out a note about this person's vehicle. You try to go put it on. The wife apparently was too short to reach the windshield. So there comes husband Kevin, supporting his wife's nonsense. Let me tell you something. I could only imagine if this was Marlon and I. I thought about this for a second. I could only imagine if this was Marlon and I. Say that I decided for whatever reason that this was going to be a thing. Who drives around with paper in their car like that? I don't know, but I guess these people are writing notes all the time, so they've got paper in their car. So I sit down there and write a note, right? And I get out to do this. Marlon, would be looking at me like, you're crazy. What are you doing? But for me to convince him that because I couldn't reach the windshield, that he needed to get out of the car and go do that for me, honey child, please. All of the Jamaican and Marlon would have come out in that moment. He would have been like, what? What? No. As a matter of fact, he would have said, keep your backside in the car and mind your own business. This has nothing to do with you. It's just crazy. So the wife is crazy, and the husband is as equally crazy to then get out and support her in her nonsense. Let's have a look at the letter. In case you missed this, radio folks, this is what the letter said. Okay. So, oh my God. To have a car this size on a tiny island. Look like they made a little typo there, so they hand fixed it. Give me 1 second. I got to pull it up because I'm having some difficulty reading it on the laptop. All right, so this is what they did. They had a regular piece of paper, and they tore it out of a notebook, and they wrote on it, to have a car this size on a tiny island. They misspelled island, so they changed it to the N. You must have an ego like Napoleon, a expletive the size of a peanut, or both. The expletive is the word that Johan used recently, and it's another word for the male private that begins with a D. Okay, figure it out. The size of a peanut, or both. An absurd, child-killing, gas-guzzling piece of hubris and ugliness. Wow. Okay. So you have an issue with the size of someone's vehicle. Okay. And they say on a tiny island like this, they talk about your ego, your private part being the size of a peanut, or both, right? That it's absurd, child killing. What? Child killing? You do know that most of the accidents in Cayman that are killing people, whether they're children or not, are actually Honda Fits. The smallest of the smallest of the smallest vehicles. But anyhow, they conclude that because you have a large truck, that it is a child-killing, gas-guzzling, it might be gas-guzzling, piece of hubris and ugliness. Wow. So then we actually have the footage. This apparently happened at Grand Harbor, from what I understand. And we have the footage of Karen and Kevin deciding to go and put this note on someone's vehicle. So had the time to sit down, write out the note. Florence says they have nothing else to do. That's their job. And then look at what they did. So this is them going up to someone's vehicle, right? Give me 1 second here. Let me see now. She gets out of the car. Yeah, there she is. And she tries to walk up to it, can't reach it, goes back in, sits down, convinces her husband that he needs to do it. He didn't seem like he took a lot of convincing because he gets out almost immediately. He comes out. Here comes Kevin. Gets the note, comes around. Okay. And there he goes, walking up to the windshield, sticks a note underneath the windshield, and puts it there. There we go. And then he gets back in his vehicle. All right. And then they go off in their little Suzuki. Well, what a hot mess. And takes his time getting back in his car, closes the door, and then drives off. Well, let me tell you, I have a copy here of the caption. So the owner of that vehicle actually shared that on his social media. And let me just see what he had to say about it. Because some people have a knack for hiding. So the owner of the vehicle shared it and said the following. They said, to whom that left this note on my truck, you should have left a name and number same time. Would bet my life this wasn't a Caymanian. Don't worry, security is sorting the footage from the cameras. People are wild as expletive. AF. Wow. This is wild. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I saw the video and I had to watch it again, and I had to watch it again to make sure that my eyes were not deceiving me, because I think that these people just are crazy. What is the point here? Island Pearl says, but Auntie, what a point of a note to share their opinion, apparently, because you think that someone actually cares, I guess, about your opinion about the size of their vehicle, the size of their private parts, and anything else. I suppose we live in a world now, Island Pearl and everybody else, where a person's opinion they believe needs to be shared with everyone at all times. We host a talk show. One of the underpinning elements of this talk show is that we share our opinions with each other. Yes, that's a talk show. That's what you expect when you come here, do you not? You expect to hear my opinion. If you want to, you can share your opinion in the comment section. You can call in and we can hear your opinion. But there is such a thing as going too far, right? And you're encroaching on other people's lives and their freedoms. If someone is in their lane, minding their own business, it is not your place to give your opinion about their life on every single thing. The vehicle that they're driving, even what they're eating. I like how some people sit down and see total strangers and like, oh, well, you shouldn't be eating that burger. It's like, that's none of your goddamn business. If they want to eat the burger, if they want to be fat, that is their business. Yes, it's not healthy, but what does that have to do with you in this moment? Like, why are you choosing to make that your business? Right? I just do not understand why Kevin and Karen felt it necessary to meddle in someone's business like this. So Damien says, well, we know that they're not French. They hate Napoleon also. Lord have mercy. Sharon says, well, there's nothing uglier than those Cybertrucks. Oh my God, trust me, right? YouTuber says, touching people's property, these same people would lose their kids if it happened to them. Jerry, good morning, says thing 1 and thing 2. So sad that at that old age, they have the time to spew hate. Well, the thing is, they have time apparently on their hands, which is wild to me. El Rey says they've proven a point that they don't belong in Cayman. And this is where I want to have this conversation with you guys now, right? Florence says some people are just damn tormented. Damien says these two are a threat to democracy and freedom. Debbie says the Jetson family, Space Mobile, and Fred and Wilma are the perpetrators. Who's Kevin and Karen? Well, we don't know who they are. Nobody has outed them yet, as far as I can tell. So I don't know who they actually are. But Kevin and Karen is the name for these two who decided to, first of all, leave this note. And then, secondly, after this insulting note, talking about the man's private parts. You see, there is even if you want to give someone your opinion, there is a way to do it, and there's a way of not doing it. This letter is a perfect example of what not to say, right? All right, if they are environmentalists, tree-hugging suckers, who just don't want to see anybody driving what they consider an oversized vehicle, what they could have done is written a nice little letter. Say, have you ever thought about the environmental impact of having a vehicle this size, the gas, as well as, it's not practical sometimes to park in a parking spot. Like, there was a different way. I mean, if they felt so compelled to share their opinion with someone who I'm sure doesn't give a damn, there's a lot of other ways that they could have done it. The fact that they attacked this person, right? The first thing they say is they attack their ego. You don't know this guy. You don't know anything about his ego or not. There might be some logical reason why he has this vehicle. I mean, I don't really know. Jermaine, I don't know why Jermaine has like this, but there could be some he might have work related business that he uses his truck for. I don't know. I can't make any assumptions about that. But you attack his ego. You talk about the size of his member. You talk about, he's child killing, which I think is the biggest insult of everything that they say in here. Gas guzzling. It's a piece of hubris. And I mean, at least they kind of, listen, you know who I think they are? Okay, if I had to guess where they're from, based on how they wrote this and what they said, I'm going to go with they are English, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay? There's certain things that they've said in here. I'm not trying to, for my American friends, I am not trying to insult you in any way, but the English do have a particular way of speaking. I don't think an American would be making reference to Napoleon, first of all. Most of them are not that well learned in history. Sorry, Americans. But this is low key, semi-European, but not really European, right? I think they are English. And I mean, I would be willing to bet a little $5 on that. If I was a betting person, I would put the most I'm going to bet is $5. And so I'd put the whole $5 on the fact that they're English. And then when they use certain words like hubris, and, that sounds very, I could see an English person writing this. I would be surprised if they were American. Some European, and if I had to narrow it down, I actually think that they're English. But prove me wrong. Somebody knows who they are. Do let us know. Damien says, but they came in a plane from 2,000 miles away. Listen, probably where they're from in London, they never even had a vehicle. Some people, that's the life. They were used to taking the tube and no vehicles, and they probably couldn't afford a vehicle until they came to Cayman, most likely. I'm just saying. Debbie says if they have status, revoke it. If they're on work permit, deport, imported riffraff. The attitude says it all, says Shaka Zulu. Florence says if they have issues with an SUV, what would they say about a trailer or truck? So it looks like he actually has a truck. So let's look at it again. I don't know exactly what the type of vehicle is, but this looks like a truck to me. And obviously, like I said, I think it looks like it's modified as well, because the it's hard to see because there's some glare on the actual video, but it looks like his truck wheels, right? So when you see her walk up to it, you see her head barely meets like the truck front. So I think this is a truck that has probably been, kind of like the monster trucks where they add the bigger wheels on it. And that's why she couldn't reach the windshield. So this isn't just a regular SUV. She should have crawled up on the tires. And that's why she then had to get her husband, Kevin, to come out and do her bidding for her. And Kevin, if you ask me, is stupider than her, because like I said, my husband would have been like, you got to be crazy. He'd be like, go sit your backside down. Seriously. All right, Paula. Good morning, Paula. She says, absolutely no excuse for that note. It says way more about the writer's lack of class than it does about the owner of the other vehicle. Appropriate legal action should be taken regardless of who did this. However, it is bad enough tolerating this behavior from our own people. If these individuals hold permanent residency or Cayman status, it should be revoked. The sheer lack of respect for our community is deeply hurtful. This situation highlights the critical need for the highly, and then unfortunately it got cut off from there. But yeah, I agree that these are people who have no sense of what it's like to, and like I said, 99% sure that these people definitely not Caymanian. If they were Caymanians, I would fall through the ground because Caymanians not doing this nonsense. So I don't believe that they're Caymanians. I think these are people that we've welcomed with open arms to our beautiful island. And then they've gotten so comfortable, which means that they probably have PR by now. They probably have status by now. And they decide then that they're going to, engage in this kind of nonsense, which is wild to me. Absolutely wild. YouTuber says, yes, tree hugger, who come here and tell us we should live while living on built up mangrove property. A lot of those people in South Sound, boy, they don't even know. And some of them do know because they've had their homes long enough that the property on which they now have the most to say was mangroves, protected. Maybe it wasn't protected at that time, but it was mangroves. And now that they're good and they're set and they have their beautiful homes and whatever, they're like, oh, nobody else should touch the mangroves. Okay, but we have to be reasonable. I agree that we need to protect the mangroves, but let's be reasonable that a lot of this island was nothing but swamp and mangroves at one point or another. So, Mary, good morning, honey chow. Says under Cayman Islands law, there's a provision dealing with harassment, alarm, or distress. The penal code provides that a person who uses threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior, or displays writing that is threatening, abusive, or insulting, in circumstances where it's likely to cause harassment, alarm, and distress, may commit an offense. It can apply whether the conduct occurs in public or private space. Look at you, Mary. You sound like a lawyer this morning, honey chow. Would the police ever pursue something like this? No. I agree that it could potentially be an offense, but they're going to say, oh no, they're entitled to their opinion. It's only if a Caymanian did this would it become some sort of national crime. I bet they can't do that in England, says Sharon. Irvin says, tell them MFers to put a note on my truck and let me catch them. Lord help them. Sal 2933 says, a person who owns his car is a very nice person who's always very respectful and courteous. He takes great care of his property, his car/property, and I'm sorry to hear this report, which is unfair and unkind. So you mean the truck owner? YouTuber says, whether I need a big car or not, I buy what I want. That's part of working and enjoying the fruits of your labor. Get the blinkety blink out of here. Irvelin says, deport them. Hateful. It's just a lifted truck, says Shaka Zulu. Yeah, it looks like it has been lifted. So Irvin says the only thing he did to the truck is put bigger wheels to raise it up. Yes. Okay. YouTuber says no matter what, Kevin and Karen, what they drive, how do they think they got it on island? That's a real big old cargo ship. El Ray says, put the video on Women in Cayman page. I'm quite sure they know the perps. Interesting way of discovering who they are. Johan says, nationality doesn't matter. There's senior citizens who've demonstrated how arrogant, entitled, ignorant, and need to respect people's privacy plus property. Time to draw the line in the sand. Now, I think nationality does matter from the perspective of how do you deal with people like this. If they're not Caymanians, that's why nationality matters, because we need to be able to say to people, look here, you can't come here from wherever. So at that point, nationality stops mattering, right? But you can't come here from overseas and bring this dirty, stinking attitude with you, because that's a problem. If you want to be here in the Cayman Islands, there are certain things that you have to accept that comes with it. Not to say that Caymanians will never change. Not to say we started out today talking about the importance of recycling, the There are things that we need to do better with the environment. The more we learn about why we need to, protect our environment, we need to incorporate these things. So I'm not even saying that they may not have a point about maybe we should care a little bit more about the environment and that impacts all the things. But this is too far. This is none of their business. Like they've just gone too far with this. Like what next? What are you going to be telling people? Good morning, caller. Mm-hmm. Mm, mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. They said they can't hear you. Oh, my apologies. Yeah, I forgot that. I don't know. I guess this board isn't really working. But hold on a second, Johan. Let me just put you on speakerphone because I'm sitting here enjoying the conversation and they can't hear you. All right, go ahead. You might have to start over, honey Chia.
Yeah, no, just moving straight into this. I think in 2026 the line has gone too far where people just don't know their place. A lot of things. Whether you're a rabid environmentalist or you're somebody that believes in paving everything that you see and building on anything and everything, that's where what I find most distressing is the elderly couple probably have children, probably have grandchildren. If you want to impart knowledge and lectures and lessons, please find your loved ones and share those thoughts and judgments that you have with people that actually care about what you think, because you probably couldn't do that. No, I would say with great confidence. No one in their right mind will be doing that sort of thing in a big city or in a big country. If you're from England, Canada, USA, name it, anywhere. So don't think that because you're in paradise, whether you live here visiting or whatever, that anybody cares about your views on whether another human being, whether that person is white, black, green, purple, or from Mars, what your views are on what they should and should not drive. Because the principle is this: the owner of that truck didn't beg, borrow, or steal from anybody to get whatever it is he wanted. They chose to drive a small car. I don't know if it's rented, I don't know if it's borrowed, I don't know if they live here. But the point is, life is about choices. But your choice doesn't mean that you get to demand that other people follow your edicts in life. And I think the most distressing thing is we are in a Cayman now where any Caymanian that offers, and I'm going to say it, any Caymanian of color, and I'm not being racist in any way, I'm merely stating a fact based on subjectivity and things that I have and other Caymanians have experienced. The minute we say anything, we are the problem. The minute we draw our line in the sand, we are the problem. The minute you say something in a chat group full of people that have assumed that they are better than you based on financial status, based on intellectual ability, based on whatever the barometer is, you become the pariah in a chat where you are home. You are in your country. You are able, we all are able, in platforms like yours allow us to have a robust conversation about things that are happening in Cayman, and especially Caymanians. So my point is, the only way that we can avoid these situations any further is by stop being meek and mild, hold your ground, and every Caymanian rally around the next one, because we've gone too far where people assume that if you make a point in defense of the owner of that truck, you are ignorant. If you tell somebody who's an environmentalist that we don't care about what your view is on whether he should have a small truck, a big truck, or no truck, that's not your business. It's not my business, but I'm home and I got the right to defend the choices that I make. And who are they, or who is anybody to cast aspersions and judgments on the size of your appendage or your senses and abilities and intellect based on the fact that you chose to buy a truck? Is that where the world has gone? Where somebody is reputedly or potentially a child killer because they drive a big truck? Like, it's gone so far, but it's gone so far because we as Caymanians have not figured out. They are united, they are organized, and they will defend whatever position that represents their collective view based on class, based on finances, based on a lot of different variables. But the reality is, everybody that thinks like that, y'all chose to come to Cayman. Nobody sent a ticket for you. Nobody begged you to apply for PR. Nobody begged you to apply for Cayman status. And this isn't about disunity. This is about respect the things that you find here. Whether every Caymanian wants to drive a truck, a helicopter, or a bulldozer, if we can afford it, just let us live our lives, because we don't know what goes on in your gated communities with all of the trappings of wealth, but we do know that y'all are uncomfortable with us. And you can't be uncomfortable with the people that you find here when you made the choice to come and visit, to work, to live, and apply for PR and status. And again, I am not advocating anything untoward, any violence, any ignorance. I'm advocating for respect the things that you find here. You couldn't go and write a note in somebody's place in Florida. Everybody in Florida has a right to carry a gun and all the rest of it. America is a melting pot on the brink of something crazy. We don't want that for Cayman. We do not want that for our people that visit, the people that live here. We don't want that for our locals and multi-generational Caymanians. So all I'm saying is, all of you, and I know everybody in the world is listening to the show, because last night I'm in a chat group for a community, South Sound. 2 Caymanians stand up. You know what happened hours later? 2 Caymanians were removed. I was one of them, because I said exactly this, and I spoke to this point. But that's where we are, and I'm cool with that. I'm good. You don't have to listen to me. But what you can't do is be disrespectful to people in Cayman because you just don't like how they think. I don't agree with what the old couple wrote at all, but you don't see me carrying on in the worst way and losing my mind about it. I'm just making the point of Cayman is at a different place, and until Caymanians figure out, we have to show the same level of solidarity, mutual respect, and willingness to defend what we are, where we are, and how we choose to live our life. They're going to always be looking down on us, because they look down on us in the workplace. They look down on us in every aspect of life, because apparently where they come from is perfect. Yet if it was perfect, they'd still be there, because nobody can have the quality of life that has come to Cayman to work the way that they can back home. So what are you doing here? If everything about Cayman offends you, if it isn't green enough for you, why don't you go and buy several hectares of land in some forest somewhere and build your ideal environmental community? Because that's what you and yours want. Let people live their lives here in Cayman, but know this. The lesson for all of us is, we are home. We are good people. We come from good people. We are super respectful. We call everybody yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and we are taught to be respectful. Now, it isn't always perfect, and you got bad apples and everything, but there are too many people that are comfortable here. There are too many people that are fake and pretentious and using you and your goodwill to help them get ahead in whatever it is they're doing. And all I'm saying is, please stop the foolishness, because people like me and a bunch of us no longer are going to sit back and turn the other cheek when we're home. Because I've lived in big cities. I've lived in London. I've lived in England. And I know my place, and everybody else got to know theirs. And if you are Caymanian that got status, there's a reason why in Cayman. Do you want to turn this place into the next Bermuda? Do you want to turn this place into the next Bahamas? Do you want to turn this place into the next Jamaica? Well, keep up with your foolishness, and that's exactly what you're going to get. Because those people have the numbers, and they figured out we're not taking no more telling from anybody. Caymanians are docile, peaceful people. Show us the respect that we deserve because of who we are, because of what we found in this country, and more importantly, we are home.
So let me just ask you something based on what you said there, Johan. So you expressed some concerns in your own community group, and your chat group there, and you were actually removed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and another person, Leon Gould.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you know where I live, so it's not a surprise to me, and it doesn't hurt me at all, But I'm using myself as an example of, I never tell nobody no bad words, never tell nobody go do anything, like, Sandra, you know me as good as anybody. You know how we talk. You know how things can get colorful. None of that. Merely stating the exact same point or points that I expressed this morning, but that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. You know why? They think they're better than you. They think they're smarter than you. They think you should not express those views because it's insinuatory. No, I'm just saying respect people's property. Don't write no notes on somebody's truck, and especially don't be condescending or quasi-insulting because you don't know who that person is. And if the person had found you doing that, that could have gone in a completely different direction. It's trespassing. You don't need to be leaving notes for anybody because he was parked legally in a spot that he uses every single night at the compound where he actually lives. So who are Ken and Karen or me or anybody else to suddenly, I don't like this. Drive where you want. You didn't borrow it from me. You didn't steal it from me, so why do I care? But that's where we are in Cayman. Too many people have too much to say, and we have too many fakers that are only here for the financial reasons. They're not into integration at all. Okay?
All right.
We gotta see them. We gotta see it for what it is, but rally around each other.
Thank you so much. Leave me there, 936-2626. So I'm curious to hear if there's anyone on the other end of this who actually thinks that this couple did the right thing. Anybody thinking that this couple had the right idea, that the note that they wrote was appropriate, and is cheering them on? Call in. We're about varying opinions here in the program. 936-2626 is the telephone number. Lots of kabooms for Johan. Unfortunately, this board does not have a kaboom button. Sorry. I haven't even set this board up properly. But yeah, this one doesn't have a kaboom button. So we'll give him a virtual kaboom. There we go. Trish says respecting one another no matter what, no matter where we are, is the key to peace. And it's even a little bit more concerning that this is where apparently this Caymanian young man actually lives, and he parks his vehicle there all the time. So are these neighbors of his? Are these people who were visiting and just rolling through? I mean, I get the sense like maybe this letter was penned and written beforehand. I don't think she had the time as they pulled up. I don't think that she was sitting there writing it. She wasn't in the vehicle that long, right? So she probably had this pre-written. Where in Grand Harbor is this? Is it like a complex in Grand Harbor? Like I'm trying to figure it out, but it looks like she already had it written. Did she go to a restaurant, sit down for a bite to eat, and had time to think about this because they passed it earlier? And then she went back and wrote this out. I mean, I do have a few more questions about how all of this. Damien says there's only one airport here and it's easy to find. But to Johan's point, there's something here that needs to be said. And I said it on Monday, and it becomes relevant again, right? There are people right here in our beautiful country who the mere fact that you voice your opinion as a Caymanian, that you dare to have a voice. We saw this. This is what kicked off this whole foolishness with me and this TikTok idiot, right? I didn't say anything that was wrong. I told the truth. I gave factual information. I corrected what he said. But Caymanians, right, are not permitted to have an opinion in their own country, because when you do, oh, you're hating on Jamaicans, you're hating on this one, you're hating on that one, or you're this, they make up names about you, so they're going to name call you. All of this stuff simply because, in my case, as a Caymanian woman, I decided to speak the truth. What does the saying say? Speak the truth and speak it. How does it go again? Speak the truth and speak it ever, or something like that. Yeah. So you're not supposed to have a voice in your own country. Johan, he shared his opinion. Now, Johan can be a little bit salty, so I'm not going to swear for him. And I'm putting my neck on the chopping block for him in terms of how he said it in his chat group. But he shared an opinion, and look at that. You get removed from chat group. Because once again, we've gotten to this point where people don't think that Caymanians have an opinion in their country anymore. Everybody else's opinion seems to matter, but ours. Even with our representatives, some of them not listening to us either. They listen to everybody else. The foreign developer, the foreign residents, this and that, whatever. Caymanians, this is our country. We have a voice. And by the way, someone mentioned, now I realize who the truck owner is. They actually said that he owns a business, a sound production business. And so they could understand why he would have a larger vehicle. He carries equipment and stuff on that vehicle. And in addition to that, why he's probably raised it off of the ground, a very practical reason. There are times when he might have to go in and out of areas that are prone to flooding, and he doesn't want his expensive audio visual equipment to be getting messed up. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter why he has a truck. He has that prerogative. He has that freedom in his own country to be a truck owner if he wishes to do so. So El Rey says he supports Johan's message 100%. Jamie says, I absolutely adore that caller. He speaks the truth without hesitation. Roar says, always so well said with him. Good morning, Roar. Damien Harbor Walk Residences, and that's right next to the new complex there, right in the corner across from Grand Harbor. I think I know where it is. Or is that actually the complex? And then they have residences like upstairs or something. But again, it's just too much. Debbie says what many expats call South Sound is not South Sound. The mangroves that condos have been built on, we know to us as Baxter Weeping Willows. Well, they're not going to know none of that, Debbie. You gone too far with the history now, because they're like, who? That's South Sound. It's okay. I know the guy is very nice and respectful always, says Leroy. YouTuber says, thank you, Johan. Roar's having a chuckle there. Well said. Lanny says, Magdalene, I was caught speeding there because I was testing a wrong size spare tire. A man put in the rental car I was driving. What does that have to do with the price of rice in China right now? I'm confused. What? How is that on topic? Okay. Roar says they want to silence us in our own country. Unfortunately, Caymanians do not know how to rally together and stand strong together, which is not in our best interest in times like this. And this now is where the truth, the tire, the big oversized tire meets the road. That is a very, very true statement. They know that they can undermine us, because let me ask you a question, right, Johan? In your community group, in your neighborhood group, you've been removed. How many other Caymanians sat there while you were speaking, said nothing? How many sat there after you and the other person were removed and still said nothing? Like, you have to ask the question, because Caymanians have a reputation for not having any backative. You don't have no backbone. And this is a problem. And I was saying this to someone yesterday who said, I want to share my opinion about something, but I have to remember that I have a business and I still have stuff to lose. I'm like, all of us have businesses. We're employed by somebody, or we have something to lose. Most of us anyway, right? And so the fact that somehow that has been ingrained in our heads That, oh, because you have a business, people might think differently of you, you have something to lose. Caymanians refuse to take a stand. And we are doing so at our own detriment. This is not about hating on any nationality, hating on people. This is our country. We need to have a clearer vision of what we want for a country. But the one thing that I know with certainty is when you see wrongdoing, right? If you're not prepared to speak up and let your voice, especially as a Caymanian, be heard, then as them old people say, dog gonna eat your supper. And the dog done start eating her supper already, for those of you who are late to class. That is why we are not second class, we're now third class citizens in our own country. Because Caymanians don't have no backbone. We don't speak up, and it's not about trying to be ignorant of people. Right? We don't have to curse them out, although I feel like sometimes some of them actually need a good cussing out, right? You don't have to do that. You can speak intelligently. You can get your point across, just as Johan just did. Share your opinions. This is your country. Why are you all so afraid in your own country to even have a voice, have an opinion? You know, when people say to me, oh, but Sandy, you the people's voice. I'm like, why? Why am I the people's voice? Look at this important topic. Right now, my phone should be, I should be putting people on hold. And look at you all. Nobody not calling in. Johan called in. Debbie, I need you to call in because I know you're going to plan them out. But where are the people, except for the handful of people who are always, the Jonathans of the world, the Debbie, the Johan? Where are the rest of you with your voice? You cannot just be a keyboard warrior in the comment section. At some point, you've got to lend your voice. Every single protest that we've had, I'm always disappointed at the number of people that even show up. Oh, but Sandy, I have something to lose. So do I. We all have something to lose. And at the end of the day, I'm sorry to tell you, right, that if you do not speak up and we continue down this path, you're going to really recognize what you are losing and what we have lost and what else you are going to continue to lose. Every one of us have something to lose. And what we're losing ultimately is our own country because of fear. The fear of speaking up. And I mean, I'm trying to make y'all understand that your fearfulness that you claim you have something to lose is only going to exasperate what you actually are going to lose in the end. Because they will take it from you. They're using that fear against you. And Caymanians, y'all have got to see it. Right? It's happening. You see wrongdoing, speak up. Whoever this couple is, what they did, the fact that they found the time to write this letter and to put this on someone's vehicle is ridiculous. Really and truly, they need to be called to account for this kind of behavior. All right, I'm going to have to put the calls on speakerphone because, like I said, something funny going on with my board here. But good morning, caller.
Did I hear my name called?
Yes, ma'am. Come to the front of the classroom.
I'm at the front of the classroom. So the reason why this couple have the audacity to feel that they have the right to do something as disgusting and faced, as we would say, on our island is because of a few simple facts. Let me lay it out for you very simply. The Larry and Linda scenario. Despite the online petition to have them removed from this island, despite the protests, they're still here. And we know nothing more about them or their status in the Cayman Islands. They're still here. The Alpers, despite the protests, despite people speaking up, they're still here. They have Caymanian status. Yes, I understand that. But they've also taken over a second dock, not only the one that apparently they now have rights to because they, unknowns to us when we protested, are paying government a fee to hand or have that at their disposal. It is people like the Alpers and the Lara and Lindas that make these. What time is it, by the way? It's not 9:30 yet, is it?
Not yet.
Yeah, these imbeciles feel as if they also have the right to do what they want in another man's country. The bottom line is this. Javi is not supposed, as a black man, a successful black man, may I add, he's not supposed to own an expensive luxury vehicle, and he certainly is not supposed to be living in an exclusive community. That is not supposed to happen. So these racist, entitled expats, and I agree with you, I do think they're British because of some of the wording that was used. I don't think if they were American, I don't think that the words that were used would be as eloquent. They think that he shouldn't, first of all, as a black man, that shouldn't be happening. So it's not about a gas guzzling truck. It's about racism, being racist. That's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. They also, if they are on a work permit, should be deported. And if they have PR or status, it should be revoked. I'm sick and tired of being considered a second-class citizen in my own home. Mm-hmm. I, for one, I don't know about anybody else. I won't allow it to happen to me. That I can promise you. That won't happen. And I'd be very interested to know from Johan. I listened very closely to what he said. And of course, I'm pretty sure he's the minority in whatever group chat that was in South. He would be the minority. And I just like, if he can, he would can. And if he can't, he can't. I'd just like him to confirm if the other person removed was also a Caymanian, as in a Caymanian. Mm-hmm. Okay? Not a status holder, not a first generation Caymanian, a Caymanian. Because it irks me. I can't tell you how it irks me when they all say, or the real estate agents are advertising land for sale in South Sound. That is not South Sound. Not that that's relevant to this conversation. What they don't realize is they're buying land that is swampland. That in a Cat 3 or Cat 4 hurricane, they're going to sink. Okay? Sink. I take great umbrance to that. Mm. So I'm already triggered because conversations like this, I get very triggered. And for all the keyboard warriors, as I've said before and will say again out there, that are saying, oh, I would do this, I would do that. Where were you when we were protesting? Mm-hmm. Where were you when we could have made a difference? You weren't anywhere near to be seen. So, and it's the truth. What I'm saying is the truth. Especially at the Lara and Linda protest. Mm-hmm. That was so poorly attended, it was embarrassing. Mm-hmm. Ask Mary. Ask Siobhan, ask Magdalene. Yep. Magdalene made it clear she'd come from work to attend that protest. Mm-hmm. And if she could do it, where were all the other keyboard warriors? So they are allowed to do it. We have set a precedent. Mm-hmm. And Lara and Linda and the Alpers are the reasons why that precedent has been set. Because nothing happens no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. Nothing is going to happen until violence takes place. And that is where we're going to. That is where we're headed. It's going to take something very drastic that a Caymanian is so fed up that it's going to include some serious violent acts for this island to wake up and realize, and people that come here as a visitor to learn to respect us. They are visitors here, and they have no respect for us whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Thank you, my dear. All right. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you so much. 936-2626. The phone lines are open. Thank you, Miss Debbie. This person says, good morning, Sandy. We Caymanians have to get up and get to this government and let them know that we've got enough of this from all of these people that are coming here and getting PR status and then making a fool of us. If you don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything. The government slogan is enough is enough. This should be every generational Caymanians too. Enough is enough. Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much. We do have some other comments coming in on the WhatsApp. Give me 1 second to pull these. This person has the following to say. 1 second here, folks. Someone is just confirming it's Harbor Walk
is where this is. Another person says, wow, they removed your hand from the group, shaking my head. Shows how they stick together. Someone says, yep, it's a new building next to Grand Harbor. It has apartments upstairs and restaurants and gyms and stores. So yeah, it's where I'm thinking. I was wondering if it was the one where Alora is. Yeah, okay, got it. Thank you so much. This other person says this. Good morning. Guess what? I'm the problem child because I'm speaking up all day, every day. This is my home. 100% agree with Johan. Right now, I'm facing backlash for standing up for myself and other Caymanians who stay silent. It never ends. So I'm the troublemaker. But I will continue to go down fighting. No expletive person is coming here. I try making me feel inferior or invisible. I'm not a expletive, yes, sa, masa person. I will be banned forever if I call in after 9:30 because this topic is my Achilles heel. Right now, my son is working in a Cayman-owned company and is having issues with Jamaican workers. But boy, they expletive with the wrong one because I'm telling him how to handle them or anyone else. I keep harping in his head that he's a Caymanian and this is his home. They have the option to go back home if Cayman isn't for them. We not for everybody, and that's okay. When Johan behaves himself, he sure can make a lot of sense. All right. 1 second. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Did I hear my name?
Possible.
Yeah.
I try to pick up on the voice. So I'm like, who the hell is this?
I heard my name. This is Siobhan.
Oh.
Yes. This is my,
come on through.
Voice.
Come on through.
This is my work voice, right?
Yes.
I didn't get to hear Johan, but he and I are in a group chat together, so I probably know what he's talking about. I may not do. But I did listen to Ms. Deborah just now, and she was speaking about the protest in relation to Larry and Linda. I think you were there, or somebody from your team attended. The sad part about it is, Sandra, is that there were so many at the time political candidates who have now gone on to be elected members of parliament who attended that protest. None of them, not one single one of them, have taken this up. Not one. And if we rely on them, they are our bridge to getting legal reform, to getting assistance. It really relies on them. Not one of them. Like Ms. Deborah said, it was so poorly attended that we were shamed. And you just won. I just won. She just won. Maris just won. Just one. But the problem is, and I think, and I'm gonna give Johan a little bit of smoke today. He said it. He was on the Link Up podcast, and he said it. And the problem is, we will sit with them to talk about each other. They're not sitting with us to talk about them. We will bunch up with ourselves to tear the next Caymanian down. They are not doing that. We are our own worst enemy. Cut off your nose to spite your face. No, baby, we will cut off our face to spite our nose. And it's really sad and it's really pathetic that I don't even want to tell you what I think, because it's not 9:30 yet, about those artifacts that put that note. Only in Cayman can something like that occur and it not be a big deal, right? And I don't want to sensationalize it and make it out to be. It was a note, right? It was a note. It was a derogatory. It was a disgusting display of entitlement, and you feel. I don't even know what to say, right? But I want to digress for 1 second, if you would allow me. Yesterday, in a chat group, you and I, you know what I'm talking about, in a chat group, a poster made a post in there, and the person said, I'm paraphrasing here, but something to the effect of, she would like to know why Radio Cayman is leading every our morning news segment with sexual assault and or abuse against children.
Mm-hmm.
This is the and I will stand corrected. She's not a Caymanian, or as Ms. Deb says, not Caymanian.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But we give them an inch, they take a mile. They continue to move the line in the sand. And guess what? They continue to get rewarded for it. There's a section in the law, in the PR law, that says the granting of that PR must be in the best interest of the community. You know what a community is? You, me, and everybody that lives in it. Cayman is only about 22 miles long, so it was supposed to be 7 miles wide. I think we might have lost some square footage, probably down to 6 now. I don't know, right? We are the community from west to east end, every nook and cranny. If something happens in east end, there's a ripple effect in west bay. We are not so far removed from the little things that we think are occurring in these silos, right? But until we recognize that for ourselves, and we stop being our own worst enemy and stop worrying about, Siobhan worried about how and why Jackie is able to drive a nice, cute, fancy truck, why Sandra's able to drive a nice, cute, fancy Mercedes, why, when we start becoming less concerned about that and more concerned about how the Jonah come latelys and the Linda come latelys and the Larry come latelys are able to obtain so much success in this country while we are here working our behinds off night and day and can hardly make a step forward. We won't be better off, but it's us. It's us. We have invited them here. We have allowed them here. We have given them a place here. Some of them are coming here with not a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And in 2 or 3 years, they're the top. They're leading the pack. They're ahead of the game, right? So take a note from their page. Take a page from their book. Take a page from their book. What are they doing right that we are not? What are they doing right? And one thing that continuously sticks out to me, like Johan said, they ain't ganging up on each other. They don't have time. They don't have time. They realize that this is a ladder, and if somebody got step on your shoulder to get where they got get, then so be it. And they're pulling the next person up, and we suck at that. We suck at it, and we would rather be down in the gutter, pulling each other down or holding each other back than saying, look, let me give you a boost, and when you get there, you help me. We crabs in a bucket, we pass that now because the crabs that when the bucket done start eating themselves and we all dead. We're beyond that. We're really beyond that. And it's really sad and pathetic what we have allowed ourselves to degrade ourselves. Oh, it's really pathetic. Really, really pathetic. But I mean, I don't know what more I can say.
Even that comment, Siobhan, in the women's group, you know, I read it and I read some of the comments and I was just appalled at how someone can live here in the Cayman Islands and be so clueless about what's happening.
Cluelessness, you know.
Oh my God.
Think, sorry to cut you off. I don't think it's clueless, but you have to understand that we are a very small demographic. We are a very small island. Everything that if you sneeze in my house, you hear it in Savannah, right? But these people are coming from countries that are, this is the norm. Not suggesting that child abuse is the norm, but
well, unfortunately, it is. Because the police
things are normal and they are very desensitized to it because it is run of the mill where they are coming from. And how dare we use our radio that we pay for to broadcast those things?
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, the police, the court's office, the DPP have said that child abuse is an increasing concern. The cases are getting out of control. So for the fact that this person could live in this community and not have that background knowledge, that they felt so compelled to ask, well, why is every time I turn on Radio Cayman, I'm surprised they're even listening to Radio Cayman, to be honest, and the stupidity of their question. But nonetheless, why is it that every time I turn on Radio Cayman, I'm hearing about abuse cases first? Like, what do you expect to hear? You think the news is a clown show?
But I'm just saying, but that, and I think the last statistic was a 58% increase in sexual crimes.
Exactly.
And those happen to all be against children. Unless you live under a rock, the court's list is public, by the way. That's public. You can go and look at people who are being arraigned on charges for sexual assault, sexual violence, sexual battery. You know, and the mere fact, and I think maybe it triggered me because children are involved, right? Not to diminish or minimize sexual assault against anyone, but children are the most vulnerable people that we have in our community. And to think that you could be so asinine, because that's the only word I can find to describe it, that you would, and then you would have saw my response to that individual, that you, and it just reeks of insensitivity and makes me want to ask just what somebody else in the group asked. What the hell else do you all intend to dictate that happens in this country? What else do you intend to dictate? It is the news. It is the news. That is the reality. We are no longer sweeping things under the carpet. We are bringing it to the forefront. We are saying we have a problem. And if this is the norm where you are coming from and you don't want to hear it, you are free to leave. Nobody never sent for you. You are free to leave. But in this here Cayman Island, we are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it every day. We are going to put it on the news. We are going to report on it. We are going to post it in public Facebook chat. I'm going to post it on my page until something is done. Until something is done. And my grandma says, forever roach you see, there's 100 that you don't see. There are 100 that you don't see. And we see the ones that make it to court. We don't know how many have gone unreported, and we don't know how many have been reported that have yielded zero results for it. But there are victims throughout this entire island, young, old, and in between, who have never seen justice for what has happened to them. So for somebody to be so asinine, entitled, and stupid to ask what to me seems like such a stupid question. Why are we reporting on it as if, what the hell are we supposed to get up and talk about? Agoutis and blue iguanas? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
And to say, well, is it bringing awareness to the issue? I would say so. You heard it. You got up and you were stupid enough to come and ask why we were talking about it. So there must be somebody that was listening that knows about it. You can't pick up a newspaper, jump online that you don't see a sexual crime against a child. I challenge anybody to just look in the month of July and see how many times it's being reported that there was sexual violence against a child, and you are going to ask, why are we talking about it?
Exactly.
Why aren't we talking about it? This is not the 1950s. This is 2026. When Mr. Brown could touch so and so's daughter because she was a little girl. This is 2026. Statistics show that 90%, up to 90% of sexual assault and violence against children happen by people that they know and that they trust. I'm talking parents, teachers, pastors, coaches, people that they know and trust. Why aren't? I would like to credit Carolina Fajeda this morning. She has done some of the best work we have ever had in this country, and it's still not enough. And it's still not enough.
Yeah. But the overarching issue is, once again, people live in this community. They see things happening here, even from what's covered in the news, and they feel like their opinion is so significant and matters so much over everybody else's, and that, whatever Caymanians are even talking about is a problem. I mean, it's just wild. It is absolutely wild.
But Sandra, we have given them that opportunity to get up and push out of their stupid trap hole the crap that comes out of it. Because if the moment that somebody says something so asinine, that they are put in their place, immediately, people would be, I want to believe, less willing to be so stupid, to be less willing to talk about, that's Cayman kind. I am so sick of hearing about it. That's not Cayman kind. If somebody breaks into your house and it's the wrong house, that's not Cayman time. They're using this Cayman time to beat everybody about with it and saying and I hate to go here, but remember when Mr. Anthony Eden said that this society we're going to degrade to something like this, where these things would be normal and that we would come to accept them as just everyday run of the mill, just paraphrasing. And everybody was like, he crazy. We're here. We have arrived. And that wasn't so long ago. He just retired. You understand? These people have insight and foresight and have seen things and know things. They lived in the days where carpet sweeping was everyday, run-of-the-mill, normal kind of thing. We're bringing in people where these types of crimes are normal. It happens and it's just accepted that it happens and there's nothing you can do. I am sorry. There's something that we can do. There is something that we can do. We can continue to report on it. We can continue to push for legislative change. I don't know why in 2026 we don't have one. I still don't know why. I can't think of one current sitting member of parliament who didn't put their hand up and say, yeah, we would support that standards registry. What have they done? What have they done? What have they done? We've had some there. We've had some there for decades and decades and decades. We've had some there for decades and left. We've had some that left and came back. We've had some that have never left. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. And women and children and your differently abled people are the most vulnerable people in society. We've done nothing. We've done nothing to protect them. We don't even have legislation that says we're allowed to carry protective spray, mace, pepper spray, because it's going to be used for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons. What is the right reason? Another victim? Only to be then told that either we don't have enough evidence. I recently come across a case where I heard that the person couldn't be prosecuted because the police lost his files. How does that happen?
How does it continue to happen? Because
how did it happen and nobody had
oh
rules?
my God.
But somehow the DPP got all the time in the world to charge people up for planning infractions and still get it wrong in friggin' 2026. Help me understand. Help me to understand. We can lock people up. We can lock people up for building a room behind the house.
Yeah.
But we can't lock people up. And we can't manage to close the case on sexual assault. We can't manage to get a sex offenders registry going. We can't manage to somehow change legislation around the sentencing for sexual assault. But we got all the time in the world to build wood, dig hole, plant tree, and everyday run of the mill business as usual. We're doing what everybody else wants us to do. That is normal where they are coming from. If you plan to fail, you fail to plan. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We are failing. We are failing. We have a big fat F. And we're somehow okay with it. And children have to continue with their lives and move on after it's ruined by some sick, disgusting pervert. And we have nothing in place to protect them. And it's just, that's how it is. We don't even know who it is. At least growing up, you knew that, well, don't go by Mr. Brown House because he's a pervert. Don't walk past. Don't even talk to him. You can't even do that because that's a violation of their human rights now. You can't even do that. You understand? I deserve to know if there's a pedophile living in my neighborhood. You deserve to know if there's a pedophile next door. The school with all the children deserve to know if there's a rapist that lives 2 streets over. We deserve to know. We deserve to know. And guess what? The same way that those, I didn't know what call them cockroaches, got out of their car and felt so emboldened to put a note on the car. Guess what? The same way that sex offenders, I saw a sex offender the other day. My car almost went over him by complete accident on a pedestrian crossing. Complete accident, right? And I know he's a sex offender. Everybody knows he's a sex offender. There's no registry. There's no registry, and they are walking around like they're a prize. Like they're a prize. You understand what I'm saying? This is where we are. Our priorities are upside down. Upside down.
Leave me there, caller.
About it.
I appreciate it.
I'll leave him here.
Thank you so much. All right, 936, folks, 2626 is the telephone number. We are remotely. I am technically on holiday, but we're away for Gigi's birthday. Her birthday's on Sunday, by the way. Double digit she's entering, but I can't disagree with anything really that caller have said. It's individual situations like this that highlight how little ground we're making on a lot of issues, right? The audacity of people to feel so emboldened to do what this couple did. Is it capital murder? No. Let's be very, very clear here and put it in proper context, right? It's not a capital murder offense, but it is insulting. And it is just one example of numerous and many examples, as the caller have rightfully said, of where people come here. They don't want to integrate into Cayman. They don't want to understand who we are, what we are, why we're the way that we are. Like I said, I'm not the type of Caymanian that is like, we're never going to change. Nothing's ever going to change. I understand that the world is in constant flux, right? There's evolution, there's change. And in fact, my opinion is Cayman has been changing for the worse, not necessarily always the better. There have been some changes for the better, but there's a lot for the worse. And we need to recognize that. And we need to have some discourse about that and how to kind of roll it back if we can. But you cannot go to what most of them still consider paradise compared to the assholes that they're coming from. Okay? Let me be very, very clear. A lot of where they're coming from, and if you see the lifestyle that they had, it is nothing to speak of. They come to Cayman, they find a community that by and large is very, very accepting. Where else in the world are you going to go and coin a phrase talking about Cayman kind? Which other Caribbean island they can go and talk about how kind the people are? Right? No. We're different. And we have always been a little bit different. We've always been soft. We've always been, a little bit too accommodating. Welcome everybody with open arms. Love everybody. Welcome people into your homes. Make them sit down at your dining room table, eating from your food, eating from your pot. That's the Cayman. That's how we get to Cayman kind. But it occurs to me that a lot of these people have confused Cayman kind with Cayman spine, that we don't have any. We are spineless. And we are not capable of standing up for ourselves. And when a Caymanian has done nothing wrong, and yes, it's almost 9:30, we got a couple seconds left. When a Caymanian has done absolutely nothing wrong, and they need someone to stand up and defend them, look behind and ask yourself, where are the Caymanians who are willing to do it? Most of you not defending yourself, much less your fellow Caymanian. So I don't care which Caymanian it is that owned this truck. Now I'm aware of who it is, right? But that part of the story don't even matter to me. The fact that he is a Caymanian minding his own business. He not out here harassing nobody. He not doing nothing. He not doing nothing to nobody. Where these people get the gall from? Give me 1 second, caller. I'm gonna try. We're officially off here now. Let me just disconnect it so that we don't have any issues with off right. But give me 1 quick second because I'm actually gonna try. I'm gonna try another port to see if people can hear you without me having to put you on speakerphone. Just hold on 1 second for me. I'm just gonna unplug the phone on the back end here. It could be that this isn't gonna solve anything, but let me try it. Hello, caller. All right, let me see. Hello, caller. I'm not sure if that can make a difference, to be honest. I don't think it does. But anyway. All right, caller. You're up.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I'm here and I just tuned in, and it is very interesting about the topic that you're on. And my 2 cents to this is, I really felt it for all the children. Every children, young adult, I really have that heartfelt feeling for them. And the accountability of everything, I think we all should analyze, what are we inviting? What are we opposing? What are we growing or want to see in the future? Does that make sense? Why? And yes. Why? Because these children are exposed. Gone are the days when we were growing, we have to earn. If you want to be on the phone, if you want to be on the tablet, technology increases, but it increases also detrimentality to these children. Why? You correct a child, the first thing you want to hear, oh, I'm going to tell my mother, I'm going to tell my father. It takes a village, Miss Sandy, to raise a child. It takes a village, and I will repeat it again, a village.
Yeah, I think we're off topic just a little bit, because I know that Siobhan brought up in specific to post, but that actually isn't the discussion this morning, believe it or not. Although I have no issues talking about it every day, that actually isn't the discussion. So the discussion is about a couple who we're calling Karen and Kevin, who stopped and put a note on a guy's truck talking about the fact that his truck size is too big. Yeah, so that's the topic. So I don't want us to get too far off topic. All right.
But I was just jumping. I just come in and
yes, I understand. Yeah.
So thank you for the correction.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
All right, my dear.
Whatever the topic is, I never hear it. So I can't.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, darling.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, there. And I know a lot of you have recognized the time, and you have rightfully said, Sandy, it is 9:30. Time for us to have a 9:30 pop-off segment. But unfortunately for you all, because I am actually on vacation, I have my child, who's only 9 years old, soon to be 10, in the room with me. And so she doesn't get to see or hear the pop-off Sandy ever. So we're going to still have to keep it demure today and tomorrow and Friday, right? Because when there are children around, we make children see the best of us, the demure side, who can have a conversation without using expletives. As much as I would love to use the F-bomb right now, we will not be doing so, because she's never heard such language in her life, and certainly not coming from her mama. Okay, so on that note, we're going to have to keep it, within the confines of what children could still hear this morning, because she's within earshot of it. All right, this person says, one of your commenters said that the airport is not hard to find, so the Women in Cayman commenter is free to find it and utilize its services. Like Siobhan said, none of us sent for them. Maybe the reporting is a trigger for them. A guilty conscience needs no accuser. I don't know why she was so bothered by that. It is really, really weird. But you know what? It's also one of those things where, remember when the person said to me, send her to go watch TV, says Joanne. Remember when the commenter said to me the other day, I think that was Nico, like, oh, you're only ever reporting bad news on Jamaica. I was like, what? Most of the news is bad news. I hate to tell y'all, but there are very few good news stories out there. And that has nothing to do with me. I'm not making up the news. I don't pick and choose the news. But, we try to report the news as and when it's happening. So yes, that woman is basically expressing the same sentiment, that, oh my God, every time I turn on Radio Cayman, I'm hearing about child abuse. Yeah, because it's so prevalent in our community. Welcome to the real world, woman. Like, okay. That's a part that she's missing. Everybody in the comment section is like, you live in the Cayman Islands and you don't know that this is a specific real world concern for people in Cayman? Clueless. Mm-mm. But once again, if you're clueless, you need to maybe start reading the news a little bit more and educate yourself. That is an issue. But the broader concern here is our voices are being in organizations, in workplaces, in community chat groups, not even in WhatsApp can you feel free to have a voice anymore. Everybody wants to censor you. And that can't happen. It's just wild. We need code words that says Roar Cayman. I don't know what is that. What's a code word for the F bomb? I don't know. Some words can't be replaced. But anyway, Abby says being pro-Caymanian is not being anti-expat, but they love to mix the two and kick people from their group chats while enjoying the false sense of security behind a keyboard and gated community fence. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. Gigi saves the little BBC. We will type it. You just say big words. Sydney, morning. The only thing that is good out of jam is track and field, says Damien. Lord have mercy. You can't say that, actually, Damien. There's a lot of good things that come out of Jamaica, but there's also a lot of ish that comes out of Jamaica. And, they don't ever want you to address the 80% ish that's coming out and think you need to hyper focus on the 20%. Nobody does that anywhere in the world. So, oh, Lord. So yeah, someone also made mention, I think there was another comment that I needed to read here. Hold on. That came in on the WhatsApp about, some people need to recognize ultimately that, let me see. Some people need to recognize ultimately that, Caymanians are only going to put up with so much before one day people are going to start going off. I would never sit on any platform and advocate violence as a solution to any of our problems, because God knows when we start to go down that road and bust somebody's head open, right? Because of the fact that they've said something to us that we don't like, or they write a note on our car. And our response to that is to pop them one good time upside their head. That's not a solution either. And that only makes us the same as other places around the world, from the US to the UK to everywhere else that these idiots are running from. So I'm not an advocate of any of that. What I am saying is that at the very minimum, we have the option, the choice to voice our opinions, to have a voice in our own country, and that you're not taken from us. And we should not allow anybody to take that from us. We can have conversations, we can have intellectual conversations, we can speak with intelligence. Caymanians are very, very smart people, right? We have our pop-off moments, we can have our intelligent moments, but whatever you want in terms of expressing yourself, there can be limits, because obviously you're not allowed to defame people, et cetera, et cetera. But this concept that you can't even speak up in your own country, we got to stop this nonsense. That is really, really a problem. So Catherine says, if he knows who placed the note there and can find the car, I would put the note back on the person's car and write on it, stop projecting your insecurities on me, seek counseling. Like I said, I wonder if they were just someone there having lunch, like at a Laura's or something, drove in, saw the vehicle, was so bothered by it, they had to find pen and paper, write the note, and then figured, oh, when we're going back out, we're going to place it there. I doubt that there's someone who probably even lives there, because that would be some real different kind of balls if they do. But with these Karens and Kevins, you never know. Damien says, don't take that comment seriously. Jamaica's a beautiful country. Just the crime and gangs is out of control now. Sia says, speaking about other world news, how did Fauci plead the fifth 111 times in COVID? Well, the man obviously did not want to participate in the proceedings at all. And that's what you do. You can't not show up, right? Because you're legally obligated to show up. But you're not legally obligated to say anything. You can plead the fifth. So, And it's not the first time that it's been done. I think there was a similar case with your leader there, Trump, who did the exact same thing in a case. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay, Missy, you need to get up. Gigi, vacation mode, Naina. Gianna, wakey. Hello. Missy, it's time to get up. Wakey. We got to get on the road here shortly, honey chow. Roar says, I do not understand. Was a truck in the way blocking something? No, it wasn't. Nope, it was not. Not at all. I need to wake this child up. She's going to bed too late during the summer. Can't wake up in the mornings. But we're going to be leaving out of here in 15 minutes. Hello? I need that wake up song. Where's that wake up song? This is when at home we would be like, Alexa, play the wake up song. And she would kick in. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm gonna play the wake up song. Hold on. I'm gonna find it on my phone to wake up. I know kids hate this when you do this to them. You wake them up and they're like in a deep sleep. They're like, why are you playing that song? Hold on. The wake up song. Here we go. Y'all ready? For those of you who were still sleeping. Gotta turn the volume all the way up. Okay. Is this it?
Get off your bum, get off your seat.
Oh, this isn't the one that I was thinking.
Wave your arms and stamp your...
Oh, that's not the one. Hold on. Nope. Hold on. What's the name of the wake up song? You're not telling me? I think I found it. There we go.
Everybody wake up.
Wake up.
Everybody wake up.
Wake up.
Open your eyes.
Get
Jump
up,
out of
Gigi.
bed.
Everybody
Open your
wake
eyes.
up.
Jump out of bed. If you're on the bottom bunk, don't bump your head.
Wake up.
Everybody wake up.
Wake up.
Everybody wake up. Wake up. Find your shoes. Find your sock.
Come on, girl. We got to get on the
Find
road.
your shoes. Find your other sock. Don't hit the snooze on your alarm clock.
Wake up. Oh, but she's getting up, though. It works.
Wake up. Everybody wake up. Wake up. Everybody wake up. Wake up. Everybody wake up. Wake up.
Toothbrush. Go brush your teeth.
Toothpaste. Now wash
Your face.
roll out.
Come on, girl. Get up.
Sound off. It's
Wake
time
up.
to get up. You gotta
Wake
get
up.
It's time to get up this morning.
Wake up. All right. Hello, caller. All right. Hold on. I need people to tell me if they can actually hear you because I am trying a different port. Are you tell me if you guys can hear this caller? No, wake up. We got to get going. Let's go. Can you guys hear him? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, if you can hear. Yes. Yeah. Let me know if you can hear him because I did change the ports on the back of the board. Can't hear him, says Island Pearl. All right, let me check one other thing. Okay, speak again for me, caller. How about now? Because I just changed something else. Let me know if you can hear him. Dun. Boy, that wake up song really is amazing. Nope, still can't hear you. All right, I'll have to put you in speakerphone. I think there's something wrong with this particular board. I'm actually sending it back to the company on Friday. All right. Yes, tell me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I put you on speakerphone, so they should be able to hear you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I have to join the conversation after the radio. I sometimes listen in between my breaks because obviously it's very important the things that you were discussing, especially when it comes to in regards of our country. And I kind of want to speak on what Johan had to say. Johan had a very triggering word. I wouldn't really refer to it as trigger, but inspirational word in what he said, right? And Johan is that type of guy. He's a very bold individual, and I have a lot of respect for him. And one of the things that he said was, "This is home." This is home. It's a very important message. I think we've lost that narrative on what that really means to us. Population growth have exploded over the years, and that's because a lot of people have came into the country, whether it be on vacation or maybe on a work trip, and they've seen the country more as a lottery ticket more than what it really is, right? Nobody actually see Cayman for what it is anymore. They see it as a lottery ticket, they take, and they go home with what they can get, right? And I know that a lot of the time, Sandra, yourself, Johan, and anybody else that dared to speak up is very much criticized for speaking up on behalf of this country. As a matter of fact, we got into the tendency of voting people in so they can be our voices instead of us being our own voices. And one of the things I was teaching my kids recently about speaking up is I gave the narrative of elite soldiers. You know, I was explaining to my kids that if you look at the Army, if you look at the SEALs, if you look at the Marines, what makes them elite is not that they're the strongest, fastest, or toughest. It's how much they care about the people to the left and the right of them. So I'm going to ask Cayman today, right, is this going to be a next subject matter that we kind of just make it fade in the dark and stop talking about after a week? Or we're going to actually find the courage and the backbone and the spine to actually do something about it? Because I'll be honest with you, I was that same trigger warrior in the background, just messaging Sandra and say, hey, can you deal with this for me? But today, regardless of what it jeopardized, I'm on the phone with Sandra, having a discussion out loud in front of the entire Cayman, or the amount of 800 or 900 people that's currently online right now, not giving two craps, because when it comes to country, I defend that first. But even more important than that, when it comes to my kids, the ones that I held in my arms, and I said, I will always protect you, not only in our home in Northside, but for this country. Because when I leave, this is home. That's what Johan said. This is home. My expectation is I'm going to leave it better than I found it. And every single person that was here before us has done a wonderful job in protecting it. And I'm tired of the people that sit back and say, well, like, who am me? I can make a difference. Like me speaking up. Let me tell you something. We're in mosquito season right now. That's what I refer to it as mosquito season. You step outside and you dare to say that I'm too small to make a difference. Try sleeping in a bed with a mosquito. I dare you to sleep in a bed with a mosquito and see how painful that is. And it is a very small little creature that when it stings you, the impact is felt. So how do we fix it? We speak up. We don't want to speak up about these two individuals that left signs or letters on the individual's name that I refuse to name. I know exactly who it is, but left messages on there. It's going to come to your doorstep soon. It's going to arrive. If you don't speak up and do something about it, it will be your child. It will be your grandparents. It will be your husband or your wife that are going to be leaving a message on eventually one day. Right? And the same things that they come down here and they see a lot of tickets of and they achieve and they get, it's you that's allowing them to do it. And this is not a bash against expats. This is a bash against anybody that comes to this country and treat it like it's a lottery ticket instead of treating it like it's home. Right? And that's a narrative I want you to get from what Johan said. He left a very powerful message. He kept on saying it over and over, and I don't know if people got it. This is home. Protect it. With everything you have, protect it. That means calling in this show every single day, protecting it. Stop being a hypocrite and selecting what Cayman kindness looks like. Because you hear Simon talk about something on the radio or on her show that you dislike, and you say, well, I'm not going to support her today. That is what deflects from the real message here, folks. Because at the end of the day, you can't get to select what Cayman kindness looks like. Every topic matters. What she discussed is what's shaping the country. So stop saying, oh, I employed Andre to do this job. I employed Michael to do this job. No. You employed them to help. But you were a part of it. You were an elite soldier too. You stand on the left and the right of them. So get it together, folks. Wake up. At the end of the day, please don't make this fade in the dark. That sounds fine. It's a trending topic that everything 245 came on Molly Road and whatever site out there going to post up. You're going to post up and talk about it too, but next week it's going to fade. And you're going to allow them to continue to stay in this country because you did not speak up. 3 different type of people in this world. 3 different type of people. People that see things happen, ask what happened, and do something about it. Which one are you? Because you can sit there forever and say, what happened? Or you can say to yourself, what can I do to make a change and an impact? That's it. Stop making it be Johan. Stop making it be Sandra. And stop making it be your MLAs, right? You can also make that change. Protect home. Plain and simple, protect home. And take this from somebody that used to hide in the shadows. And that's it for me.
Yeah. Let me ask you one question. Why are you refusing to continue to hide in the shadows?
Because I see the consequences of it. I see what happens if you stay in the dark. I see what happens when you don't speak up. You're looked upon as weak. And then the one thing that I realized too at the end of the day is that if I really truly want to protect my kids, this is how it starts. You don't stay in the dark. Because they're going to do the same thing. And then with the time you look back, look around, Sandra, because our kids are growing faster than you can imagine, right? They're gonna face the same issues, and our kids mimic what we do. What do you want them to see? They mimic exactly what we do. Our mind is a sponge. You just said something powerful also in that room. You said, guys, I'm not popping off today because Gigi has never seen that side of me. Right? She mimics what she sees, and what she's witnessing in that room every single day is consistency and showing up for country. So what do you think Gigi is going to be like in the next 10 years? The reason Gigi fears no one right now, that's why she looked at you yesterday. She said, you're stressing me out. She's becoming vocal because of what she sees.
Yep.
So what are you doing to your kids by being silent?
Yep.
What are you doing?
Yep. And that is so important at all levels, caller, because even in their homes, Caribbean people have a way sometimes where like, oh, children are meant to be seen and not heard. I have never subscribed to that mentality. And one time my husband kind of said something, not those exact words, but something kind of similar to her when she was younger. And I had to stop him dead in his tracks and said, no. Her voice matters. Yeah, she's only 4, 5, 6 years old. I can't remember how old she was at the time. But I said, what she has to say matters. Don't tell her to be quiet. You might have to say, hold on a second. Somebody else is speaking first. Let them finish. So there are rules of conversation. There are rules of engagement. But never tell your children that their voice doesn't matter or that they must be seen and not heard, which is a typical Caribbean mentality and way of thinking. And a lot of Caymanians have adopted that when it comes to their children. If we want to continue to have a voice in our own country, we need to make sure not only that we're exercising our voice, but we let our children know that they also have a voice. Right?
Absolutely.
And they need to be heard within our homes. If something's going on at school and they come home and they report it, you need to listen to your children. Right? Encourage them if they see an MP to talk to their MP about issues that they're concerned about at whatever age that they're at.
Yeah. You guys have to remember, right? Like we were speaking about Johan just a couple minutes ago, and the reason I'm calling is because of people like him and people like you too, Sandra. If I got to be honest, that's why I find the courage. But I also, Johan has left, right? My son is blessed enough and lucky enough to hang around his son Nico, and his partner and Johan himself has left a mark on their son. When we see individuals like his son, right, and what he's growing up to be, that's going to be a home team warrior. He's going to protect this country first because what he sees his mom and his dad doing. So why am I going to sit back and not try to instill the same type of a warrior mentality within my kids? This is your home team at all times. And just don't do it today or tomorrow. Do it forever. If you see something wrong, speak up about it. Do better. That is the one thing I got to leave this country with today by being on this phone for the first time in a long time is do better. Do better because you can, and you're doing it for your kids. Our forefathers did it before us. I know very well the Ramones and the name I get the privilege of carrying it, right? Has done the same thing. Do better. Stop. There's a thing I tell my kids everywhere we go. Hotel room, Airbnb. It could be inside of a church. If somebody gives us the opportunity to stay in that institution, if Sandra was to say, "Hey, stay in my house and just watch it for a couple of days while I travel," leave it better than you found it. Leave it better than you found it. That is my speech and my talk. So every expat that comes to this country, leave it better than you found it. Because we did a damn good job in making it what it is today. Don't destroy it. Leave it alone. And if you touch it and you destroy it and you talk bad about people, because it's more than just our beaches and our buildings, right? And our finance. It's about our people too. So if you come at my people, are coming for you. Plain and simple.
Yep. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it. All right, folks. We are going to start wrapping up the show. As I said, I'm on vacation this week, so I did promise that we're gonna enjoy some of the vacation. And so, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the program. We're going to be back here tomorrow morning. We're hoping to have Miss Marla Dukran on the program with us tomorrow, and we're going back and circling back to this conversation that we were having with her about population growth. But because I can tell you that some of our elected officials who commented in the media about what they thought about, her report actually didn't read the report. And that was evident based on the comments that they made. We elect people to public office. I can tell you we're not always doing the best job when we elect people that we do. If they wish to give a comment on something and they don't even have the time or the desire to read it, so that then they can do somewhat of a reflection and at least give an accurate comment on what the report is all about, they just have an opinion. Yes, you're entitled to your opinions. No two ways about that. Every day of the week, everybody has an opinion like you got a you know what, right? That's fine. But at the end of the day, if your opinion isn't shaped by anything factual ever, what is the point really? That's why I'm on here constantly saying data-driven decisions, data-driven conversations. There's lots of things in life that I've had an opinion on, and the actual data has made me change my opinion. What do they say? Only a fool doesn't change their opinion, right? I mean, it's as simple as that, really. So let us work on it. Let us try to do a better job of, educating ourselves, because ultimately that, I hope, is the goal of this platform. Yes, we get into the all sorts of, she's gone downstairs. We get into all sorts of conversations and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, right, let's bring it back to the facts. What are the facts? All right. Now I'm going to leave you. I promised you that I would let you hear this editorial video that was shared. And in some respects, it's very much on point today, yet again. And I hope that you enjoy this. We're going to do more of these, and I will share this. She might be asking me, Mommy, what's a bonke? I think she knows what the word bonke means already, though. But yeah, I mean, just listen to this editorial. We're going to share it on social media, and we're going to be sharing more of these. So if you have an opinion, I'm slowly encouraging you guys in any way that I possibly can to share your opinion with your community and beyond, because there will be thousands of people outside of Cayman once we post this on social who will hear this. Send it to us. If it's a voice note, yes, there's a little bit that we can do in terms of changing it around a bit, but I want us to get to the point where one day, hey, hi. I want us to get to the point where one day we can actually start to have these conversations without even needing to change our voices. That they can say, oh, I recognize that voice. That's Sandra Hill. And she's speaking up for herself. Good for her. All right. Listen to this, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
I just sent you his last video of this Jamaican dog where he's there. I sent it to you on Messenger, talking about all the hate and backlash that he's now getting, and all the hatred, and he's not that type of person to speak ill on others. Sandra, I spent last week listening, obviously. You know how TikTok work. You look and watch one video, so every content that he put out, it comes straight into your feed. The words that I heard him use to describe you, it was so degrading, demeaning, disgusting, right? And to use that on a social media, on a platform, to tear down you as a woman. I know that we have laws here in terms of you can't insult the modesty of a woman. And I know one thing he have crossed that the whole of last week, every time he mentioned your name, calling you whore, slut, and big puss, and all in degrading words. Here's my 2 cents in this whole thing. That motherfucker needs to be held accountable. And now he's seeing the backlash. People's coming at the Jamaicans coming against him, But I'm talking about you as a person in terms of if there's any legal action you can take against him, then by all means, by all means. And I gotta tell you something too that I was thinking about this morning when I was taking a shower. This whole situation.
My apologies. I'm not so sure that you guys could actually hear that. Were you able to hear that okay? All right, let me play it again because I for some reason I'm not hearing it, but I think maybe you guys were hearing it.
I just sent you his last video of this Jamaican dog where he's there. I sent it to you on Messenger talking about all the hate and backlash that he's now getting and all the hatred, and he's not that type of person to speak ill on others. Sandra, I spent last week listening, obviously. You know how TikTok work. You look and watch one video, so every content that he put out, it comes straight into your feed. The words that I heard him use to describe you, it was so degrading, demeaning, disgusting, right? And to use that on a social media, on a platform, to tear down you as a woman. I know that we have laws here in terms of you can't insult the modesty of a woman. And I know one thing he have crossed that the whole of last week, every time he mentioned your name, calling you whore, slut, and big puss, and all the degrading words. Here's my 2 cents in this whole thing. That motherfucker needs to be held accountable. And now he's seeing the backlash. People's coming at the Jamaicans coming against him, But I'm talking about you as a person in terms of if there's any legal action you can take against him, then by all means, by all means. And I gotta tell you something too that I was thinking about this morning when I was taking a shower. This whole situation, Sandra. If it was not for Sandra Catron, Caymanians would not be informed in this country. Period, hands down. Because what other social medias out there that brings you in a little bit of news in Cayman is so watered down and so little in comparison to you. So you're the voice of Caymanians. So when you took this whole thing and ran with it to defend our national airlines, because just remember this, that's the only how you got involved with this personally. He didn't initially came at you. It was you defending our national airline. Maybe I'm just being a little picky here, but I'm just a little disturbed in terms of why is it that Cayman Airways has not officially made a statement in regards and addressing him, because the things that he even had to say about Cayman Airways is slander and bullshit that he was saying, So, yeah, just maybe the real world doesn't work like that, obviously, to some people. But I'm just a little disturbed, like I said, that the airline itself didn't take a position or a stronger position, and even addressing this clown, this fool, even the government. Because even the other day when you had Rawson on there, he took and ran with that, and those kind of things. That thing was sucker to my mind. That kind of things. They got to learn that the real world. This is not, when you're sitting there and you're saying these kind of things about any individual, that there has to be consequences, legal and financial consequences, and this motherfucker needs to pay. And again, like I said, I'm hoping and praying. Maybe I'm going a little bit too far-fetched in terms of my expectations. But if I'm out there fighting, defending you, when the fight starts, at least I don't want you sitting on the sideline watching me, taking all the blows. I would like for you to come in as well, because I'm fighting for you. You know what I mean? So what I really and truly appreciate to hear Cayman Airways view, certainly publicly. Anyway, TD, love you. Stay focused. You're amazing.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.